Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 6th episode of the Big Footy Blues podcast. I'm your host, the Wookie, and with me as always are my companions in crime. Coming to us from the northern reaches of this great country is the doyen of the Carlton Big Footy Board and master of all his surveys, except perhaps in his own home, the old Dark Navies. And sitting in the corner, wearing a dunce's cap and still recovering from his weekend, if he's not still drunk, is our resident comedian, the man from Warrandyte, devoid of caring. How are you guys?
Drunk.
Pretty good. Great intro. Very accurate too,
So
if I must.
even improvised. Improvised.
It's almost there.
Excellent. Now, I'm pleased to say that we've got extra people here today. We've actually got a guest. No phantom
Extra
guest.
people.
No, it's not Aphrodite. But we are pleased to be able to introduce our first ever guest on the program, ladies and gentlemen, and devoid of caring. Get your hands together for the all-powerful and all-knowing Supreme Overlord of Big Footy. That's right, folks. I give you the Chief. Chief,
Woo!
how are you?
Thrilled to be here.
Welcome.
Thrilled to be here.
I've been waiting for this all week.
Yes, excellent. We're very glad to actually have a guest. Devoid of Caring's been running around like a rabbit. Like he's all, I can't believe there's going to be someone else who's going to be taking my spot. You're going to fire me.
I'm going to get banned.
He's been fearing for his position all week. So, look, I guess the first thing to talk about is the game on the weekend. We're now 3-3. We actually won that. How did you guys see that? Perhaps ODM first, and then anyone else wants to throw their thoughts in.
Oh, look, well, we were always in control of that game. A few people a little bit upset just after the match that we didn't really put them to the sword and build some percentage. But Melbourne actually gave a bit of a yelp, so they had a bit of pride about their performance. So a 10-goal win is it's not too shabby, and I think it's more about the positives we can take out of the game and the players that really stood out and did something good. We had a lot of winners on the day. Our whole back line is just fantastic.
That wet headbutt was a winner.
It was so predictable, though, as well, wasn't it? Like, you just knew he was going to do something stupid.
It was a bit later than I expected. I thought I sort of expected it straight after the opening bounce, but
he was throwing himself at people like the whole game. Even in the last quarter, when the game was 10 goals up, he was still throwing himself like fully into people when he took marks. It just wasn't necessary.
That's commitment, no. Come on.
Dedication.
Dedication to the cause.
Yeah, being a team player.
I think Malthouse said it best at the end when he was at the press conference when he said he would gladly take in any situation, an 18-goal to 8 victory at the end of the game. Like, there's no need for criticism. Players performed well. We still won, and we won by 10 goals. I mean, what's to complain about?
Yeah, and Juddy was down on form, and we're having big wins with Juddy
anyway.
Not doing much at all. Good to see Murphy kicking some goals.
That was his best
really
game for a while.
Yeah,
He's done good.
Yeah, he is.
I think another good game to White and players like that as well.
Yeah, the newbies, White and Lucas.
Lucas is coming along in leaps and bounds.
Mm-hmm.
After everyone giving him shit.
Well, yep.
That's right. Probably even some of these guys are right here.
Look, I stuck up for Wadey just before the match, and I stuck up for Walker before the match, and I stuck up for Hampson before the match, and they all did something wrong early in the game, and I thought I was going down in flames, but they all did stuff to redeem themselves in the end.
Oh, even I was abandoning Hampson.
Look, I stuck up for Wadey just before the match, and I stuck up for Walker before the match, and I stuck up for Hampson before the match, and they all did something wrong early in the game, and I thought I was going down in flames, but they all did stuff to redeem themselves in the end.
Oh, even I was abandoning Hampson's ship by the end of the first quarter. I remember saying in the game day through, I can't defend this. He's dropping chest marks and things like that when he's got no business doing so. But that last quarter in particular, and the second half in general, he really pulled it out. He's where to
Then he started grabbing him like there was no man's business.
Yeah, he did exactly the same thing he did against Richmond. He started marking anything that came within his arm's reach, and it was like, whoa, where was this guy in the first half?
It's like he put glue in his hands at the second half.
It wouldn't surprise me the way we're expecting Cruiser back next week, apparently, if not this week. and Gibbs will miss at least another week, and Wade, of course, will be missing a week through suspension. We're doing pretty well with the injuries this year.
Yeah, we're not
You
getting
ask.
we're not getting the long-term injuries. So I'm pretty happy. I was looking up. This is more of an AFL issue, but there's something like 16 long-term injuries, mostly ACLs and involving knee reconstructions in the AFL at the moment. So at least we're not copping it as bad as some teams are.
And the players that are copping the knee injuries, they're not really integral to the side like they were last year when we were getting injuries. So we're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the voting was completed today for the Big Footy Player of the Year, the BigfootyBlues Player of the Year, and the winners for that were Jeff Garlett, and followed up with Lockie Henderson, Mark Murphy, Eddie Betts, and Robbie Warnock, who keeps going from strength to strength, and Lucas coming in for the best new blue. Interesting stat here. Of the 34 players we've used, and yes, we've used 34 players already this year in 6 games, which isn't too bad. 24 of them have had votes at some stage in the last 6 rounds from people in the forum. So, as a team, they seem to be doing okay. How have you seen Garlett's performance, perhaps even this year?
Look, compared to last year, it's chalk and cheese. He's a real standout, and I'm guessing he seems to be Mick's kicking buddy before games. I heard. So I'd say you've got to credit.
So he's found the buddy.
Yeah, exactly. You got to credit this turnaround to Mick, and other players like Walker, who's bounced back, having a really good year this year. So credit where it's due. We're down on Mick when he first came on board, wondering what he's going to do, but he seems to have reached some of those players and turned them around.
We've put an end to the whole Henderson going forward talk. He really is, possibly our best centre half back in, I don't know, since Sexton retired.
Yeah.
I mean, that has no legs on it whatsoever, though.
I don't know. You get people whining about it all the time.
I understand that he'd be great up there, but we've got Layla being sampled as a centre half forward, correct?
Yeah, I don't think that's got legs either.
No, I don't think
probably
so.
doesn't. It probably doesn't. But just from what I've been or heard, I should say.
It's all right to have a swingman, though. You like your Daniel Bradshaws or your Alistair Lynches who can switch to either end, and I think Henderson
got White
can do
as
that
well.
from time to time.
They have been using White for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And White is having a very good year, but I honestly believe that he is best suited to where they play him on half back. That back 6 at the moment, with Jamison and Henderson and White in particular, and backed up by whoever else is down there, is just they are playing some good footy now. And anything that gets through, that's generally not a result of poor defence. That's a result of the midfield losing. So I think they're doing all right. You're going to move it along quickly to the weekend. This coming weekend, we've got Monday night. We've got St Kilda at Etihad. Not the happiest of hunting grounds for us in recent years. How do you see the Monday night fixture?
We're 2 wins, 15 losses since 2002 against the Saints. 3 wins, 11 losses in the entire history at Docklands against them. So we don't like playing them at Docklands.
Mind you, historically, I think we do very well against St Kilda. I think they've only beaten us like 30% of the time or something silly.
Yeah, but Bruce Doyle and the likes of it, Alex Jezelenko aren't playing anymore, and that's that's when we were really dominating.
There might be forum people that would be happier if they were playing.
Yeah, potentially.
Still, you want to live back in the old days. Look, Nick Grewalt, I don't think poses that much of an issue for us. He's usually well held by either Jamison or Henderson. They've taken it in turns to shut him down. Milner's been a problem for us. I'm just wondering if Armfield will be able to do a defensive job on him.
Or Walker.
I think Walker deep in defence if he's playing.
Well, here's a fun fact. Walker has polled votes in the overall side of things. Walker's polled votes in the forum for odd-numbered matches only, which is something I found out today. and this is an odd-numbered match, so he's due for a good one.
He's doing it Geelong.
So,
He's, just on that, Wookie. Walker down back. Bit of conversation during the week. Didn't wanted to be a forward under Ratton. Now he's gone back and he's seems to be enjoying it under Malthouse. So, not sure if it's.
There's people out there that are
It was an interesting one.
There are people out there that are rewriting the history on this, though, which is annoying for me because he really didn't want to play there under Ratton, and he demanded to go forward, but all of a sudden now he's happy to go back. It's great that we're winning, and it's great that he's having a good time, but that particular period of our coaching wasn't the finest hour for the Carlton Football Club, I don't think. But it's all water under the bridge now. We've moved on, and all hail the great and mighty Mick as we move forward into what will hopefully be our 17th premiership.
Indeed.
Or at the very least, hopefully we'll all live long enough to see Essendon stripped of one. Either way, it's a win for us.
Hi, Essendon people.
Fortunately,
Give me a friendly wave.
Fortunately, they don't listen to us. Although I'm not sure the Talking Carlton people like me that much either. So,
What have you done now? Photos of one of them or something?
May have made some comments about them either last week or the week before, and how they whine about everything. Anyway,
Wouldn't be a football forum with.
how much are Carlton going to win by on the weekend?
50.
50.
I say that every week.
I'm going to say 21 points, like I say every week.
I'd say around about 18, and I'm fairly much a fence sitter there too.
Actually, to be honest, I said a cricket score on the weekend, but
I can tell you from tipping that, just about everyone tries 21, 18, 24, and that sort of thing on their Friday night margin, tiebreaker margins. And so when I see a team win by about 3 or 4 goals on a Friday night, I know I'm going to be handing out premium memberships by the bucket load.
you got to wonder.
Then we did about 9 this week.
9.
9 people got 9 from 9 and tipped the margin exactly.
Wow.
So you're a money-making enterprise then, Chief?
Exactly. It's going gangbusters.
As always, we like to ask Doc the difficult questions, the hard questions. We like to take
questions you don't ask anybody else.
Submissions from our forum and people that offer them to us. Doc, have you got any questions?
Downright wacky.
Has anyone asked you any questions this week?
I don't think they have. I think we've gone a bit dry.
Well, you'd think so, but I've had some questions in PM.
Yeah, see, this is crazy. Why are people PMing you about this?
Well, obviously, I am the altogether handsome host of this program.
Oh, get off it.
And people know that.
You're a hairy beast.
People understand that
At best.
I am the font of wisdom here, so as opposed to the general tomfoolery that goes around on the other side of this program.
I'm scared.
And so I have had some questions submitted, and I guess the first one is, can a man and woman just be friends?
I'm interested to hear this one.
Who asks you these
Come on.
questions? Who asks you these questions?
I get these in PM. They've asked not to be named, or they'd put them in the general forum. There are people out there that inquiring minds want to know. Can a man and woman be friends?
Can I be...
This was from Caro, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
It probably was.
And who was she asking it about?
Hutchie.
It's all those emails.
So you've got no answer there.
Certain North Melbourne person.
I better just save myself and say I've got no answer for this one.
We'll have to ask Jesus when we get to heaven, that sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Is he alive?
I don't know. Don't even know if he really exists. But anyway, that's a question for another time. Because the second question I've had given to me in PM is this.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go.
Is it true that toast always falls butter side down? Cite studies.
Wasn't there actually someone who actually did a study on this?
I can't
Does
remember.
anyone know this? Because I believe it probably is true.
Ooh.
Actually, well, no, hold on. That depends how far you're dropping it. This will go in depth. How far can I go with this?
I think people are going to be having heart attacks right now that you actually gave an answer to something. I know I'm my heart's beating just a little bit faster. Too much knowledge coming out now.
I have that effect on people.
All right, well, our final segment for the show, as always, board talk with ODN. What do you got, mate?
What have I got? First of all, I put a call out asking for a few more Twitter followers and Facebook likes so we can get to over 500 Twitter followers, and that happened pretty quickly. And I put another call out on the boards during the week to ask to get a couple more Facebook likes so I can see a world of statistics open up to me, and that happened as well. So thank you very much for those people who responded. Rather than talk about our usual threads every week, and everybody knows about our preview threads and our historical perspective threads and stuff, I just wanted to. This is quite handy while we've got Chief here. In terms of our board stats, we sort of get board stats come up once in a while, and the Carlton board's usually the leading team board in terms of page views. Is that right, Chief?
Yeah, but I rigged the stats.
You read the stats, all right. That's all right.
So you guys feel better.
I'm running with them.
It's really GWS's board that's leading everything, isn't it?
And we're top 3 for unique visitors. Unique visitors as far as I know. So they don't come more unique than you, Doc. So
because of my posting, I'm
bringing
all the weirdos.
They're coming to ask him questions. That's what it is. And I'll speak more of that.
Page views as well. So
excellent.
So your visitors look at a slightly more pages than the average.
Yeah.
Board.
That's the main board. The AFL board's number 1 though, isn't it? So Carlton board.
Every time.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
That's awesome. All right. Well, before we sign off, perhaps just a few questions for Chief.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, you're a Carlton supporter, yes?
Yes.
How long have you been a Carlton supporter for, mate?
Since I was about 6 or 7, so I'm not going to say how many years that was. It was around the 81, 82. We lived in New South Wales, so when Carlton beat Essendon, whenever Carlton beat Essendon, my grandmother went for Essendon, so we'd just yell in your face.
About the same time
she would attempt to hit us with her walking frame, but we would dodge out of the way. It was a good game. It was good fun.
What would you say your favourite memory as a Carlton supporter is?
My favourite memory? Growing up in New South Wales, you didn't often get to see your team play. So, really it was, the grand finals and that sort of thing where you really got to see the team. They actually put, a game on the TV in New South Wales, the grand final. The grand finals are just those ones that stick out.
And the 99 preliminary final rings no bells for you?
Well, see...
It's generally the go-to game for everyone.
Well, it was against Essendon, and by that time my grandmother died, so it was sort of like I was torn between the two. I was like, it was very disloyal of me to be not overjoyed, but I was sort of like, I felt a bit for Essendon that year.
Fair call.
But now they're going to be kicked out of the competition, so I'm like, suck shit.
Yeah, well, that poses some interesting possibilities in the future.
Yeah.
So you've been to actual Carlton matches. You
Yeah, it's actual Carlton matches. They have. It's not just staged on a sound stage, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, thanks for coming in, guys. It's been yet again another fantastic podcast.